It's on.
Hey! Hi guys. How are you? This is Eugene and Andrea, your relationship strategist, the builder and the educator, helping you navigate life's most important goals, your relationships.
We're out for a walk today.
Yeah, we're out for the walk today. And we wanted you guys to be with us. It's such an awesome day today. So,
yeah, it's pretty.
Man, just
nice.
enjoying the scenery, enjoying each other, getting some exercise, stretching out the legs. Yes, walking off that beautiful breakfast this morning we had, hanging out together.
Still talking about breakfast?
Oh.
Okay, go ahead. What are we talking about today?
So today's Power Couple Quickie is finding and maintaining your peace, right? Control versus influence,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
You got the power. Hey, Dad.
Hey, Daddy.
Hey, Dad. So yes, we're talking about finding and maintaining your peace. So we're both going to be sharing a little bit and talk about the importance of not just finding that peace, but maintaining it. So let's start out just by talking about the importance of having peace. See, because having a peace or walking in and living in a state of peace is important, because I feel, for one, that is, if you're thinking about peaceful things, right, then you begin to feel peaceful and then execute things with peace. So
absolutely. What you think affects how you feel,
yes,
and then it affects what you do and how you walk that out.
Right. So we can kind of say that that this state of peace, or this state of being, this balance, or this harmony, if you feel peaceful, are you thinking peaceful, feel peaceful, that helps you more or less move and walk with sound judgment, right?
Okay, so then where does the whole conflict versus influence come in? When I think about it, hey, TC. When I think about it, I think one of the biggest things is understanding, though, peace is heavily connected to what we believe we can control. I just want you to take that in. What you believe you can control, the things that you think you can control. If you think that, you're thinking like, I can do this or I can do that. I'm walking in the grass. If you think, I'm gonna, if so-and-so does this, then it'll make me happy. Hey, Susie. Hey, Mariah. If so-and-so does this, it'll make me happy. If this happens this way, I'll be happy. I'll be peaceful. I'll be whatever. The only time that works is when you can control a thing. Hey, Keisha, is when you can control it. Right. And so we have to determine, what are we basing our peace on? And my husband and I have been talking about this all week, because inevitably we have two different ways of looking at things and approaching things and stuff like that.
That's right.
I'm like, need a little bit more, and then this edge over here. Okay,
so
now
we're walking and recording at the same time, so we're working that thing out.
It's special, right? Okay, so, but here's the thing. I learned a long time ago, when I was really looking for my peace, that I needed to determine first what I actually could control and what I could not. That's the bottom line.
Right.
Because sometimes we're trying to control things that we have no control over.
Right.
And we base our whole lives and all of our happiness on that. I don't care if it's making someone love you like they used to. Hey, so I can't even see it. If you see the names, because I'm bouncing with you, I can't see the names. Hey, people coming on, I can't see your names. But it's one of those things where when we can determine what we can control, then we can do a whole lot more intentionally.
Yes.
Okay, does that make sense? If that makes sense, give us like a thumbs up or a like or something like that. Hey, Adrian, if I can control it, for example, I always use this basic example. I say, look, my sons will call me and they'll be like, I got this grade and oh my gosh, and blah, blah, blah. I did everything I could and I still didn't pass it and I still didn't get it. And I say, okay, what do you think you can do differently? Because that grade is in their control in a lot of ways. Okay? It's like, I think if I study more with other people in the electrical engineering building, engineering building, I think if I go see my professor, I think if I ask the questions I didn't want to ask questions, that'll change everything. And I say, go try it, because you can control all of those things. Hey, Deanna. Hey, Eunice. What can you not control? Let me help you really easy before you say that. What can we not control? People.
That's right. Can't control other people.
You can't control other people.
That's right.
Get it in your spirit. Just stop right here. Inhale. Take a deep breath.
Take it in.
Let me have a doula birth moment with you.
Yes.
And just release it. You cannot control people.
Yes.
If your happiness is dependent on another person doing something for you, you are going to remain unhappy.
That's
because
right.
even if they do it now, you will begin to fix your mind and your heart around doing things to make them continue to do what you want them to do.
And so those are the things that I wanted to kind of point out earlier is that how do we fall into these places? We fall into these places where we start to hand over our peace from misaligned, expectations.
Yeah.
Misaligned expectations is a place of getting common with a situation, getting common.
Common means what? What does that mean?
When you get in common is that something actually happened in a relationship with you and another person, and you kind of like dropped your guard. Yeah. Okay. See, and when you drop your guard and your expectation was misaligned in that particular relationship, right? There is a certain bounce back that has to happen, but you don't want to lose your peace in that particular process. Yeah. And so that might look different for a lot of different people. You may have to give yourself a little space. So what Andrea was saying earlier, when you're talking about taking control, right?
No, I didn't say take control.
Well, not taking control, but what I'm saying is that you have control, right?
No.
Control versus influence.
Okay, let me tell you what I said again.
Go ahead.
What I said, because this is one of those areas.
Because I said we said you can't control others, but you can actually move yourself. That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
you can move yourself back in order to maintain your peace. Because if you have a peace of mind about the circumstances, the situation, that enables you to make a sound, good judgment.
I agree.
And with sound, good judgment, it can more than likely produce sound, good life with you, your neighbor, and everybody else that you're around. Because getting out of that place of peace, it happens, but you can take control over your situation by
realigning yourself.
Realigning yourself.
So here's what I say.
Maintaining your peace. Maintain that thing.
So then
you got the power.
Got the power. You got the power. Yes. So like if I'm maintaining my peace, right? If I'm doing what I need to do to maintain my peace. Hey, Eric. Then what do I do with the other things that I can't control?
Right. So what we talked about earlier, the things that you can't control, right? If you in that level of peace,
you better watch this ground. Right? It's one of them places they need to fix on this sidewalk.
We had a real big conversation on this. Was about influencing.
Right. So here's the deal. I have to know that I can control the aspects of myself. We all have situations about ourselves that we can't necessarily control perfectly, but I can align myself, I can position myself, I can do all those things. I can do that myself. But what do I do with the situations and the people that I cannot control?
Right. Let's talk about it.
Well, it's tricky. Because we had this whole conversation, we talked for an hour, and I was like, we got to get this straight before we get on here. All I'm going to have to do is rely on you understanding certain things.
Right.
Okay?
Let's go. You want to slow walk it for us, Dr. Mason?
Well, let's just talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
What you can't control, you can make an effort to influence.
Right. Now, there is a difference between...
you said slow walking, now you're running.
Go ahead, dear. Help us out.
Okay, so let me give you an example. I often think about children when this happens, right? So with children, when it has to do with children, we start off as parents often, many of us, not all of us approach it differently, but sometimes there's this notion that we can control them, or maybe it's other people. It's like, oh, I can get them to do what I want them to do, right? I'll start specifically talking about children, though. Hey, Bianchi! Specifically children, there's this notion that the respect or whatever they give us, that is tantamount and it's equal to, or it's the same thing as, being able to control them. The thing that I realized is I watched 4 young men grow in my house, and I'm now the shortest one.
Talk about it.
We range from 6'5" to 5'11", and now I stand as the shortest one, somewhere under 5'11". And what I realized is that, and I realized it a long time ago, that if you build your family structures and build whatever on the notion of control, that I can control them, without realizing that there's a place that's going to come where they're not going to be afraid of you, then you'll have to move into manipulation.
Yes.
Take it in, breathe. Okay.
Do we need to stop and hold space for that, or keep on rolling?
We'll hold space.
We'll hold space for that.
Take a deep breath.
Let's say that one more time. When you borderline control and you start walking over beyond that line,
yeah,
you're walking into manipulation. Let's take a deep breath.
If you are basing your whatever on the ability to control people, you might be gifted with a gift of, what's that word I'm looking for? It ran out of my head. Persuasion. That's the word.
Yeah.
Some people are gifted persuasion. They're like, they can persuade you to do whatever. But if you get to the point where you think, I can get people to do whatever I want,
right,
you're really walking into manipulation. And that's what you operate off of. You operate on being able to get people to do what you want them to do, regardless of what they need or want.
And guess what? We can walk on here.
Okay.
We're sacrificing our peace.
The whole way.
Why? The whole way.
Why? How does that connect? The ability to get people to do what you want. Well, when they're not doing what you want them to do.
Right. Then you get agitated. Then you begin to point fingers.
Yes.
And then you begin to lose that peace of mind and start making possibly irrational decisions, possibly unsound judgment. And then when you do that,
all based on being able to control to get your peace.
Right.
Because if you're built on this thing of I want peace, then we have to look at the peace. How do we cooperate in this peace?
Yes.
And it can't be by trying, hey Victoria, by trying to control other people.
That's right.
So then if we're not trying to control other people, then what can we do? We can influence.
That's right.
And practically, when I started seeing these boys in my house grow up, they started getting taller, because I'm not necessarily a short or small woman. So I stood my ground a long time.
You're a fine woman.
Whatever.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We ain't talking about that. But there came a time when it was like, they started talking like this, and it's like, your ma, and they started looking, and I'm looking up, and I'm like, okay, we got to have some other techniques, because at a certain point, they're going to realize that most of the stuff I said was just like, it was, how can I describe it? Not mind tricks, but it was like, when you...
Jedi mind tricks.
Yes, I'm doing Jedi mind tricks most of the time.
They're going to catch
They're going to figure it out in a minute. And so then it's like, okay, if something is happening or something is doing, I'm finding myself, okay, I have to deal with them differently. I want to influence them. And I would tell my husband all the time, because here they are. I don't know if you, just do a thumbs up if you have boys growing up in your house. Or if you have grown boys in your house.
That's right. And they get to that 13, 14-year age.
I'm trying to tell you.
And they start expanding their world. Yeah.
It's like fireworks. Stuff start happening. And it's real hard to manage.
Yes.
And so I was looking, I say, babe, truthfully, I don't know why we're conditioned this way, to get intimidated by watching them do what they're supposed to do, which is to grow.
Right.
We're supposed to watch them grow. They're supposed to be growing. Mm-hmm. They're supposed to be, I want them ready for manhood, but it's still hard every time. It's still hard. It is,
because they are living in this let's stop right here, because that deserves a holding space right there.
Let's go to the corner.
Okay, we'll go to the corner. So what it is that when you have these young individuals, young spry young men that are developing in your house, they need that space, and then you as the parent need to understand and realize now the control that you may have had when they were babies,
or
thought you had when they were babies, and you were directing them and getting them away for danger, is now that you begin to use influence to begin to speak into their lives and speak to them in a way where they're growing up and actually making decisions for themselves.
Because ultimately we want that when they have a choice to make. Monique is talking about 29, not at home, 14. Oh, that's right, girl. Me and you talked about the boy thing. Woo! ultimately, when it comes down to it, do you want to go on that side?
Yeah, we can walk.
Let's walk this way then.
Okay.
Ultimately, when it comes down to it, I lost my train of thought. Okay, when it comes down to it, you want that when they're older, that they're going to come and they're going to want to be in your world.
That's right.
A person that is controlled from youth, so that when children are controlled, when that's our goal, is to get them to do exactly what we want. When they realize that they don't have to do what you tell them to do,
they're going to be
then
gone,
that's when there's a problem.
and they're not going to be looking to seek your counsel
anymore. And they're not going to want your counsel anymore. Mm-hmm. They're going to realize that all my life they tried to control me, right. And now I don't want to talk to them.
Right.
You know, now I don't want to be with them. That's right. Now I don't want to do whatever.
And this is all still bound up in the segment that we're talking about, finding and maintaining your peace. So whether it's maintaining peace in your home with your children, finding and maintaining peace in your relationship, at your job, whether it's recreational relationships, professional relationships, or even covenant relationships, you need to maintain your peace.
By knowing what you can control and what you need to try to influence.
That's right.
And so the bottom line is?
The bottom line is not to allow the bottom line is to know what situations you can control, and what situations you're responsible to.
Where's your power?
Influence.
Where exactly is your power?
Yes.
Where is your power? What can you control? If you can control that, I can control so many things in my life.
Yes.
I can control how I respond to somebody. If I can't stand it. Oh, they always just push my button. They just push my button. They always push my button. Okay, well then how long will you allow that button to be pushed?
Okay.
When I get really, really ticked off, like when somebody has more influence than I would love them to have. How is my child messaging me during this? You know, Omari is hilarious.
Leave it alone.
Okay, you're over here. I need to hear. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I look at it like a security system. This is literally how my mind thinks. So just be mindful. This is really how I think. I look at it as a security system. When I lose my peace, and I mean to the point where it's just, the managing of it is, I'm not in a good space where I'm really, really ticked off. When I get to that place, I see it as a breach in my security system. Something has gone wrong because I let somebody really, really get to me. Hey, Jessica. I let somebody really, really get to me. And that means they can control me. Ha, ha, ha. Not going to happen.
Yes, don't sacrifice your peace for nothing.
Not doing it. So you can push that button. You can take my peace. That's my responsibility to make sure that place is secure.
That's right.
And what it means is often that's a place that we want to control that we can't. We want to control it. We can't. We go so far. We keep pushing for it. Like, you can't control it. You go too far into it. It sets off all your alarms. And now what?
The one control that you do have is that you can posture and position yourself in a different way, meaning like excuse yourself from the conversation.
Yep. I can decide how far I'm going to go. I am not going to allow my peace to be stolen. I need to process this out, but this is not the best environment, and I can choose what that looks like.
Or not the best time.
It's not the best time. It doesn't mean we won't deal with it, but it is not the best time right now.
That's right.
And so all we're encouraging you to do is to know where your power is. You've got the power.
You've got the power.
The video.
Oh.
You up here running, man.
Are you going to do it for us?
I'm going to do it for you.
Because if I did it with the thing.
Okay, that's enough. Okay. So the bottom line, you have the power. And what do you have the power over? Only those things which you control.
That's right.
And how do you determine that? One big thing to know is that you don't have control over people.
That's right.
If you can keep that in mind, then you will know that sometimes you can't influence them, though. And you need to stay in a place where if that's what's going to happen, then fine. But if you're moving, like I can't control you, but I can figure out how to make this work for me.
You manipulate.
That's manipulation.
Right.
And I know there's so much more that can be said.
But what is the harmonic connection word that we generally say? The most significant change
that you can make in your life and your relationships
is
you.
You.
You change yourself first.
Yes.
You change you first.
Yes.
If something is getting to you and taking your peace, you change you.
That's right. Reposition.
Why
and
does that
posture
get to you?
yourself. Yes.
Well, any mother would care. Any wife would care. What do you need to focus on and think about that has you all turned out of sorts? What do you need to reconsider about what's going on in your life?
Talk about it.
Find your peace by finding what you can control about you.
That's good. That's a good action point. That's what we're talking
Find
about.
what you can control. Hey, Chanel. Find what you can control about you and focus on changing that about you.
That's
and
right.
not just like, oh, I'm going to be a better person. That's not what I mean. What I mean is,
Right.
what can you change about you that will allow you to respond differently,
That's
to
right.
create a different scenario, to be and do something different? What can you change about you?
Yes.
Because you are co-creating this situation.
That's right.
You are the one that is allowing this to continue. If the same thing is happening and the same thing is happening and listen, what can you do differently?
That's right. Talk about it, doctor. Talk about it.
You co-create something different.
That's
You
right.
change the pattern. You know what they say, insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over,
again,
expecting a different outcome.
result. Yeah.
Change something.
And so what I hear you saying is that with the control that we're taking to maintain that level of peace in our life and in our area of influence is that you're saying go ahead and take control and be the thermometer and not a thermostat. Not to go up and down and around when people come around you and say boo. But actually posture.
Is that the right way? Thermostat versus thermometer?
Yeah,
Did you say it right?
the thermostat is what actually controls the conditioned environment. The
thought you
thermometer
said it-
just goes up and down.
Oh, you said it backwards.
Did
Okay.
I say it backwards?
Yeah,
Okay.
you said it backwards.
So you
Okay.
want to be the thermostat and not the thermometer.
Thank you. Okay.
Yes. You want to
All
be able to
right.
control your environment by posturing and positioning yourself in a way and realizing the important part of being controlled by controlling your environment and not getting that backwards with trying to control people.
Yep. So that's it, I think. I think that's good.
Yeah, that was good.
You got the power. You got the power. Boom, boom, boom. Know what you can control. Oh, love that analogy. Yay. I'm glad it made sense. Know what you can control. Usually it's you.
That's right. That's right.
It's you.
It's
Control
you.
you. Control yourself. Control you. Okay? Control your actions.
Like I'm controlling this stick here, this
Whatever.
selfie stick.
And I'm
you see how I'm
influencing
controlling
it.
And she's
I'm
influencing.
influenced. Okay.
See how I'm controlling the stick. I got the stick, so I can
Here we go.
control it.
Here
So
we go.
I'm controlling the stick,
Oh my God.
and I get to control the power. And so she doesn't have to be in the video because I control the stick. Now I want her in the video.
Now,
Now
I choose not to be.
I should choose not to be, but I want you to be in.
Whatever. Now you're just being silly. Okay, I think that's it.
Yes.
Control what you can. Who is
Yes.
that? Who is that? Who is the one person that you can control? Type it in. Who is the one person that you can control? And don't tell them. And I'm going to wait here to type it in. I want to see somebody type it in. Who is the one person you can control?
Yes.
When you're thinking and focusing on
Finding and
how to
maintaining your
your
peace.
peace.
Yes.
Who is the one person that you can control? Remember, when you try to control anybody else, it's manipulation. Thank you, Monique. It's you. It's you.
Yes.
You're that person, so focus on you, because the most significant change
That you can make
in
a
your
in your life
or
or relationship.
relationships is you. Mwah. I
Thank
love
you
you guys. Thanks for being here with us and tolerating all of this foolishness. I got the stick. That's a whole nother thing. We could talk about the whole I got the stick thing, but
I got the
whatever.
power, right.
Whatever. Bye.
Bye.